Howdy, partner. This town is big enough for the two of us. Partners is an engaging strategy game that, as the name implies, involves a lot of teamwork. The game was first published in 1998, after its inventor Thomas Bisgaard from Denmark came up with a way to play Ludo using cards instead of dice. Since then, it has taken Bisgaard's homeland and all of Scandinavia by storm. It is the #1 board game in Denmark. There's organized tournament play. Most households own a copy of this game, and now it can be found all sorts of places, including the US. So, what makes Partners so good? Let me tell you how it works. Partners is a game best played with 4 players. Players sitting diagonally across from each other, like the yellow and blue or the red and green, are on a team. The objective is simple. Get each of your pawns all the way around the board and back home. How do you move around the board, you might ask? These cards, they're the key. You see, one player will take the stack of cards, then they'll shuffle them, like so. Then they'll deal 4 cards face down to each player. Players then look at their cards, select one of them, and slide it on over to their partner player. So effectively, both players blindly swap one card. What that means is you have to be paying attention to where your friend's pawns are as well as your own, because you might have a card that really saves their bacon. Occasionally you'll have a little chuckle because you just exchanged the same card. But you're not allowed to say anything. No table talk. That's cheating. Once everyone has been dealt their cards and then secretly exchanged cards with their partner, the game begins. On your turn, you play one card face up in the middle. In the beginning, you can't participate in the game unless you have pawns on the board. And in order to get a pawn on the board, you need to be able to play a heart card. They look like this. If you have no heart cards in your first hand, you just have to discard them all and pass the whole round. Let's say I did have a heart card. Yay! Out into the wide open world with this guy. Now next time it's my turn, I can play these number cards. I simply move the pawn the number of spaces indicated on the card. If I land on a space that is already occupied by a different colored pawn, I send that pawn home. Murder. It's awkward if you accidentally do that to your own teammate's pawn. If you double up 2 of your own pawns on the same space, if there are any pawns sitting in this heart section, they act as a roadblock, so you can't pass them. Unless, of course, you play the old switcheroo, or maybe if you ask nice enough. To spice things up, the game comes with special cards. This card allows you to change the position of any 2 pawns in the play area. This card allows you to move 1 space 7 times. So you can move 1 pawn 3 times, another pawn 2, and a final one 2 more. This -4 card allows you to move 4 spaces backward. So if you played this in the heart area, it would line you up for a straight shot home. Some cards have 2 options. Simply pick one or the other. In order to officially get your pawns home, you have to play a card that is the exact number of spaces needed. If you play a card that is over, let's say I'm 2 spaces away from home, but I play a 13, that means I'm going to go 2 into the spot, then bounce back out for another 11. As soon as all my pawns are safely home, I now play cards that affect my teammates' pawns. As soon as your and your teammates' pawns are all home, you win! Isn't that lovely? And that's the gist of the game. There are a few other small rules and different versions of the game, like Partners Duo, Partners 6 players, or the 25th Anniversary Edition. Each have their own special cards that make them exciting and offer a little more variety with the strategy. So, what are my thoughts on this game? Thumbs up? It's pretty simple and fun. Really makes you think. Because of the social aspect, it's still fun for people who are used to really complicated board games. And because of the simple aspect, it's fun for people who aren't familiar with board games at all. It's a fairly quick play, and because everyone plays until the very end, it stays engaging the whole time. Overall, it's a satisfying game with lots of opportunities to be like, Also, an interesting note, all of the games I've played have come really close. There'll be one team that is definitely in the lead, but by the end, it's down to the last 1 or 2 pawns. I personally like the little blind trading with your partner. That adds a little bit of that mind-reading aspect that can be fun. However, if you're paired with someone who's really good at the game, you're gonna get a lot of groans when it's your turn. All right. Oh, ooh, okay. That's an interesting choice. Well, yeah, well. Ooh, ooh. Well, that's one way to do it. If you want a quick, fun, simple, replayable game that you could use as an icebreaker or with longtime friends, this game is an appropriate match. I have to admit, I often find myself playing more elaborate games with narrative elements or some sort of immersive something, but this is a fantastic option for when we just don't have time or energy. Once again, thumbs up. And that's our review of Partners. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for more nerdy board gaming stuff.